Okay, so I want you to close your eyes for just a second. Picture a landscape that feels heavy. Not with like smog or city noise, but with heat, with dust, and with memory. Visualize a rural road, maybe the edge of a stream where the water moves slow.
Right.
It's a place where if you stand still enough, the silence isn't really silent. It's full of echoes. Echoes of people who are gone and, versions of yourself that just don't exist anymore.
That is a very specific type of haunting. It's not a ghost story, not in the traditional sense.
No.
It's the haunting of a place you used to know, but a place that sort of moved on without you. It's that feeling when you go back to your childhood home and realize the trees are taller, but you feel smaller.
Exactly. And today, we are going to a place just like that. We're going to unpack a piece of source material that is, on the surface, deceptively simple, but, well, it's incredibly dense underneath. It's a poem titled Kubuk by W.N. Weerthunga.
Which translates really beautifully to Tears Under the Kubuk Tree. And I'm glad we're doing this one, because this isn't just about unpacking a poem. This text, it really operates like a time capsule.
It's a time capsule, yeah.
It captures this very specific moment in the rural experience, that friction between the old world of agriculture and the new world of relentless development.
It's almost a case study in nostalgia, but not the warm, fuzzy kind. It's the painful kind.
Yeah.
So our mission today is to walk through the vivid imagery Weerthunga uses, from, noisy hand tractors to silent satellites, and try to figure out what he's telling us about the cost of progress.
And I think the central tension we need to look for here is the difference between change and loss. The narrator is observing how the physical world shifts around him, while his emotional anchors, specifically that Kubuk tree, they remain these stubborn constants.
Right.
It asks a big question. When the landscape changes, do we change with it, or do we just get left behind?
Let's get right into the sensory details. Because the source material, it doesn't start with philosophy. It starts with noise. We are just dropped right into the middle of a field with a very specific machine.
The Mahapa's hand tractor.
Now, for anyone listening who imagines like a massive air-conditioned John Deere combine harvester when we say tractor, we need to reset that image, don't we?
Oh, completely. That is not what is happening here.
Right.
In this context, we're talking rural Sri Lankan agriculture, or really many parts of the developing world. A hand tractor is a two-wheeled beast. You don't ride in it, you walk behind it holding these long handlebars.
That's a physical.
It's violent physical work. You're wrestling this engine through the mud. It literally vibrates your whole skeleton.
And the poem captures the sound of that struggle perfectly. It uses the phrase hutu hutu gaga.
That's a great piece of onomatopoeia. Hutu hutu. You can just hear the engine sort of misfiring slightly, chugging along.
It's not a smooth hum.
No, not at all. It's a rhythmic, struggling cough. And it disrupts the natural silence. It tells you immediately, this is a working village. This isn't some pastoral fantasy. It's a place of labor.
But here's the detail that really stuck out to me in the notes. The poem says that after pulling loads for 3 hours, the two wheels sleep in the field.
That phrasing is so vital. It's personification. It doesn't say the engine was switched off. It says the wheels sleep.
Like an animal.
Exactly. In traditional farming, that role would have been filled by a buffalo, right? You work the animal, then the animal rests. Here, the machine has taken the animal's spot, but the narrator still treats it with that same biological empathy.
It's sleeping.
It's sleeping. It implies exhaustion. It suggests that even the machines in this village are tired. It sets a tone of weariness right from the first stanza.
It's interesting because it blurs the line between the organic and the mechanical right from the jump.
Yeah.
So we have this mechanical exhaustion on land, but then the camera of the poem, it pans over to the water, to the stream. And the vibe changes completely. It goes from industrial to, well, primal.
We see the diabolo, the otters, and the herons.
And they aren't just adding scenery, they're eating. The poem specifically mentions them swallowing the thayo, the small fish.
And this is important for our sort of big picture takeaway here. Nature isn't romanticized in this source material.
Not at all.
The tractor is loud and tired. The stream is a place of predation. The heron eats the fish. It's raw. This establishes a baseline of reality. The narrator isn't saying, oh, the past was a paradise where nothing died.
No.
He's acknowledging the harsh cycles of life that existed long before the road was ever paved.
It grounds the nostalgia, doesn't it? It keeps it from being too sappy.
Precisely.
It's like, yes, the tractor's noisy, but the stream has always been a place of life and death.
It's an honest accounting of the environment, and that honesty continues as the sun goes down.
Okay, so night falls in the narrative, and this is where I think the imagery gets incredibly cinematic. The narrator takes us up into a pala.
A watch hut.
But not just on the ground. This is a structure built high up in a siambala tree, a tamarind tree.
And context is key here for the listener. This is likely referring to chaina cultivation or shifting cultivation.
Right.
You clear a patch of jungle, you plant your crops, maybe corn, maybe some vegetables, but you're vulnerable. You are right on the edge of the wild, so you build a hut in the trees to protect the crop.
Protect it from what?
The poem is explicit, watching for elephants at night.
That phrase does so much heavy lifting, watching for elephants. It just immediately spikes the stakes. You aren't up there stargazing for fun. You're up there because a multi-ton animal might come crashing through the dark and destroy your livelihood.
Or kill you.
Or kill you.
Yeah. It creates a sense of profound vulnerability. You are small. The elephant is massive. The tree is your only safety. It's a very ancient, primal human position to be in hiding in a tree, scanning the dark for monsters. It connects the narrator to, thousands of years of human history.
But, and here is the twist that I think defines the whole piece. Wow, he is sitting in that ancient tree, terrified of an ancient threat. He looks up at the sky, and what does he see?
He sees Chandrika, satellites.
That juxtaposition is it's jarring. He says, unlike nights back then, now many satellites are running.
It's a collision of eras. I mean, think about the timeline. The narrator's body is doing something humans have done since the dawn of agriculture, sitting in a tree, guarding food. But his eyes are watching the absolute peak of modern technology streak across the stars.
It's the Stone Age and the Space Age overlapping in a single second.
And notice the verb he uses. The satellites are running. Just like the tractor was sleeping, the technology is given this living action. But unlike the tractor, which is close and noisy, the satellites are distant, silent, and kind of indifferent.
Yeah, it emphasizes how much the world has changed over his head. Literally, the universe above him has been modernized, even if his immediate reality in the watch hut feels stuck in the past.
It really evokes this feeling of being straddled between two worlds. You're mud-bound, watching for elephants, but the sky is full of metal. It makes you feel small in two different ways. Small compared to the elephant, and small compared to the technology.
That's a brilliant way to put it. Double insignificance.
And that theme of verticality of looking up, it continues when he shifts his focus to the village infrastructure. He starts talking about the built environment.
Yes, and this is usually where we see the clearest signs of economic development in these kinds of narratives.
He talks about the Podi school, the small school. But he points out it's not Podi anymore, it's not small. They're building 2 or 3 stories now.
Vertical growth. In a rural village context, a multi-story building is a massive symbol. It's a monolith. It screams progress, investment, population growth. It's probably the tallest thing in the area other than the trees. But is the narrator impressed? It doesn't feel like a celebration of better education facilities.
I don't think impressed is the right word. He's observant, but there's a detachment. He contrasts this vertical growth of the school with the horizontal nature of the Mahakali, the jungle reservoir or tank.
Right.
He notes that the tank still overflows.
Which implies
that the hydrological pulse of the land hasn't changed. The school can add as many floors as it wants. It can try to reach the satellites. But the water cycle, the reservoir, it fills and overflows exactly as it did when the school was just a one-room shack. It suggests that human ambition is changing the skyline, but the fundamental rhythm of the land is indifferent to that ambition. The water doesn't care about the school.
Speaking of the land's rhythm, there's a really interesting contradiction about the road. He says, spring water doesn't flow on the sandy road.
Which sounds desolate and sounds dry. It suggests that maybe the climate has changed or the freshness of the past is gone.
Right. But in the very next breath, he points out the con fruits are there, and the ahila trees are blooming with these bright yellow flowers.
The ahila tree is a crucial visual anchor here. When those yellow flowers bloom, they hang down in these golden cascades. It's impossible to miss. It's a riot of color.
So why mention the dry road and the blooming tree together? It feels like a mixed message.
I think it's about resilience. The spring water of the past might be gone, and maybe that's a metaphor for the ease or vitality of the old days, or maybe a physical spring has literally dried up.
Okay.
But the land is still generous. It still offers the con fruit. It still offers the beauty of the ahila flowers. The seasonal markers are still arriving on time, even if the human infrastructure feels degraded or dry.
It's like the land is doing its job, even if the town is struggling.
Exactly. The earth keeps its appointments.
So we've established the landscape is shifting, technology is encroaching, but then we get to the people. And I think this is where the time capsule aspect really cracks open and hits the listener emotionally. The narrator looks at his peers.
The shock of aging. It's that moment you realize you aren't the protagonist of the future anymore.
He says, everyone who is in the class now has grandchildren.
That is a startling leap in the narrative. He doesn't say, we all got married or we all had kids. He skips a whole generation. He jumps straight to grandchildren.
Why that specific jump? Why not just say we're old?
To force the listener to feel the weight of decades instantly, if he said, we have kids, that's adulthood. But grandchildren, that's the twilight. That's the exit ramp.
Right.
It emphasizes that the era of his youth isn't just gone, it's ancient history, it's 2 generations deep now.
But there's this beautiful loop involved. He watches what the grandchildren are doing. And the poem says they're using siambala seeds, tamarind seeds, and matatia, those lucky red seeds, to learn to count. 1, 2.
I love this detail. Think about the contrast we just discussed. The school is becoming a modern multi-story building. Right?
It's a symbol of the future.
But inside that modern building, or maybe at home, what's the educational tool?
It's still the seeds.
It's the dirt, it's the trees. The Madatia seed is bright red, tactile, uniform. It is the original abacus of the village. So the architecture changes, the satellites run overhead, but the fundamental cognitive process of a child learning to count, that is still tethered to the land.
It's a comforting constant. 1 + 1 is still taught with red seeds. It grounds the learning process in nature.
It suggests that underneath all the development, the human experience remains primitive, in the best way. We still learn by touching the world.
But that sweetness is immediately undercut by the next image. He looks at the teacher, the sir.
The figure of authority, the one who taught them to count in the first place.
He describes the teacher's goatee, his goat beard. He says it used to smile, but now it's turned Nerex.
Nerex generally implies gray or white hair, the sign of aging. But focusing on the smile is the key here.
Yeah.
A smile is active, it's engaging. A gray beard is static, it's a status.
Seeing your teacher age is a specific kind of trauma, isn't it? I remember seeing my high school principal years later and being shocked that he was just a person.
It is a trauma because when you're a child, the teacher seems immortal. They're a fixed point in the universe. And when you see the teacher turn gray and frail, you have to accept that no one is exempt. If the pillar of wisdom is crumbling, then the narrator's own time is running out.
Wow.
It validates that whole realization about the grandchildren. The cycle is closing.
So everything is shifting. The teacher is gray, classmates are grandparents, the tractor is noisy, the satellites are indifferent. The narrator seems to need a sanctuary. He needs an anchor to keep from getting swept away by all this change.
And he retreats to personal rituals. When the macro world changes too fast, we retreat to the micro world, the things we can control.
He mentions 2 specific actions: playing the flute, the batali, on a rock near the Kubuk stream, and submerging himself in the tank water in the evening.
Let's look at the flute first. It's a solitary instrument. It's breathless. By sitting on the rock near the stream, he is physically placing himself back in the setting of his youth. He is trying to summon the sound of the past.
He's trying to overlay the sound of the flute on top of the hootu of the tractor.
That's a great point. He's fighting the soundscape of the present with the soundscape of the past.
And the water. He says he dips in, just like back then.
Immersion. This is all about sensory memory. The water feels the same on his skin today as it did 30 or 40 years ago. Water has no age.
Right.
The satellites might be running above him, but when he goes under the water for that second, the world is unchanged. It's a coping mechanism. He's verifying that he is still himself.
And that leads to the stargazing.
Yeah.
But it's not just looking up. He says, we count the stars that run through the Kubuk leaves.
Notice the framing. He isn't looking at the open sky. He's looking at the sky through the filter of the tree. The Kubuk tree is his lens.
So he's viewing the universe through the context of his home ground.
Yes. It feels protective. The vast, scary, satellite-filled universe is broken down into manageable pieces by the leaves.
Which brings us to the title of this deep dive, and really the emotional climax of this entire piece, Tears Under the Kubuk Tree.
The ending of this poem is where the unpacking stops being about analysis and just becomes purely emotional.
He talks about remembering the gymnastics of the past. The word used is karnam, like somersaults, acrobatics.
The kinetic energy of youth. He isn't remembering schoolwork or chores. He's remembering the sheer physical joy of being a body in motion, being able to jump, to flip, to twist in the air.
But he can't do that anymore.
No, he's an old man playing a flute now. The somersaults are gone. His body has betrayed him, just like the landscape has changed around him.
And then comes the final line. It says, the Kubuk shade itself is crying while remembering those past days.
That is the masterstroke of the poem. It's called the pathetic fallacy in literature attributing human emotions to nature. But here, it feels like a necessity. It's the only way he can express the depth of his loss.
Why? Why not just say, I am crying?
Because saying I am crying is lonely. It's just one old man's regret. But by saying the shade is crying, that the tree itself is weeping, he makes his grief universal. He's saying that the landscape witnessed him. The tree saw the somersaults. The tree sees the flute player. The tree connects the two versions of himself.
It's like the tree is the container for his memory.
Exactly. If the narrator forgets, or if the narrator dies, the tree still holds the memory of that boy doing backflips. The tears of the shade. They represent the heavy, damp sorrow of a place that misses its people. It suggests that we imprint ourselves on the places we live.
We leave ghosts behind.
We do. We aren't just passing through. We leave ghosts behind. And the tree is the only thing left that knows the whole story.
That is remarkably profound. It shifts the perspective from I miss the village to the village misses me.
And that is the tragedy of development. We build the schools, we pave the roads, we launch the satellites, we gain convenience. But do we lose that connection? Does the modern concrete school building weep for the children inside it? Or is that a relationship reserved for the Kubuk tree?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
We trade intimacy for efficiency. The concrete school doesn't know your name, but the Kubuk tree remembers your somersaults.
We do. And Weerathunga is asking us to count the cost. He isn't saying stop the satellites, he's just saying look at what is crying under the tree.
So bringing this all together, we've traveled from the hutu of the exhausted tractor, past the heron eating the fish, up into the watch hut under the satellites, and finally back down to the weeping shade of this ancient tree.
It's a journey from noise to silence, from the outer world of progress to the inner world of memory.
The takeaway seems to be that development is, well, it's inevitable. The skyline will change. But the human heart is stubborn. It stays tethered to these specific sensory experiences, the red seeds, the yellow flowers, the cool water.
And we need those tethers. Without them, we're just watching satellites run across a dark sky. We need the Kubuk leaves to filter the light for us. We need that context to know who we are.
I want to leave you with a thought today, something to carry with you after you take your headphones off. We usually look at a landscape, a park, a backyard, a street corner, and we see it as inanimate, just background scenery.
Passive scenery, just stuff that's there.
Right. But this poem challenges that. It suggests the land has a memory. So here is the question for you. If the trees in your childhood neighborhood could remember, if that old oak or maple or the mango tree in the back garden could think, what specific moment of your play would they be weeping for today?
What was your version of the somersault?
Exactly. What is the thing you used to do that the landscape misses? Because maybe, just maybe, that tree is missing you just as much as you miss it.
That is a beautiful, if slightly heartbreaking, question to ponder.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Kubuk Gahයට Kundulu. It's been a pleasure unpacking this with you.
Until next time.
See you then.